What is going good, Gridwisers? Welcome back to another rendition of our weekly rideshare news and trends
Another
episodes.
rendition.
I am scared to call this a podcast, even though we are a podcast. If you
It's
don't
a
know,
podcast.
it is a podcast because
Down
we
below in the description, there will be an audio only format.
if
We
you
just happen to have a video format as well.
just search on your favorite podcast platform, we're on like 12 of them. This audio, so you don't have
It's a
to watch it.
podcast.
Exactly, it is a podcast. But
I don't
anyways,
want to hear. I don't want to hear anyone else tell us we're not a podcast because you can listen to us on Spotify.
guys, rideshare drivers, gridwisers, everybody listening, watching, happy 2020, happy new year. Hope everyone is doing well. It's so good to have everyone back on the show again. This is Jay and Brandon Reno. I keep saying that. It's Brandon. Why do I keep saying Brandon Reno? Welcome back. Today's topics. Let's talk about Uber is suing California. Uber suing California. What else we got? We got Uber suing California.
Oh, go ahead.
We got
Sorry,
a selfie incident where an Uber driver that is part of our community wrote into us explaining the situation. You know how the Uber has those safety features with the selfie, you take a picture of yourself? Well, let's just say a mistake was made and this person's child took it and Uber deactivated them. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about what else are we talking about, Brandon?
A couple things. Along with that, we're going to talk about Texas allowing drivers to transfer patients now, which is interesting, and then what that's going to mean for drivers in Texas. And then I think that has some broader implications as well. But those are kind of the main things that we're gonna riff on a little bit today.
Yeah, so let's start with Uber actually has the audacity to sue the state of California for AB5.
Uber and their audacity. So kind of like the saga of Uber and like the employment battles, the AB5 battle is really just beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So they have basically sued Uber and Postmates have sued the state of California to block the AB5 law. So it sounds like they are suing to be able to block it, just like in general from being able to start to be enforced. So it's them. It's actually Uber and Postmates, and then I guess they tagged on an Uber driver and a Postmates driver. It's actually pretty interesting. There is this driver that is suing Uber or suing the state of California as well. She actually wrote like a really long medium, not really long. It's a decently long medium post, 6-minute read. All right, it's not that long. She wrote a medium post about why she thought that this was so bad for drivers, and it's kind of like the same argument that you've probably heard if you've listened to this podcast before, where she's kind of afraid of, well, I want this flexibility, and I don't want to be a full-time employee, and then so now you're forcing me to be classified as an employee.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of interesting there.
Yeah, and what strikes me, what resonates on this news is that Uber, they've actually went that far. They actually went through legal course, and that's just proves to me how devastating AB5 could be to their business. I mean, would you spend $500 an hour on lawyers in the millions to get this lawsuit? Probably not if this wasn't such a big deal. And it just goes to it just proves to me just how bad this could be for Uber and how they view how bad it could be for their business when drivers are finally classified the way they always should have been, which is definitely not. And I wouldn't go as far as employees. You know my stance on this, Gridwisers out there. I wouldn't go so far as drivers are employees. I don't believe in that. But drivers are definitely not independent, and that's part of independent contractor. You're not afforded the independence to make independent decisions.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. Like, so Uber, I think Uber, Postmates, and Lyft, their coalition, or maybe it's Uber, DoorDash, and Lyft. Actually, I think it is. Their coalition, they pledged like $110 million for this new bill that they have coming out that's going to be on the ballot in California. I think it's going to be on the ballot in California in November. That's basically that's where they're offering the 120% plus like some healthcare benefits plus covering expenses and all that good stuff. So that's what they are. That's when they're offering that, and
You know where
they
that
spent
money
120.
came from?
Huh?
You know where that 110 million came from?
The lawyers, I'm
I'm just
assuming. I
no,
don't
no.
know.
I'm saying I'm trying to be instigating here. I'm trying to fire the people up listening to this. It came from us. It came from the drivers. They
Oh.
pocketed our money and they spending it on lawyers against us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's your money.
Let us know in the comment section right now, Gridwisers and Rideshare drivers everywhere.
That they just spent to go after AB5. But yeah, they
Exactly.
spent that
And
money. Plus, there's more money on top of, because this is different than that. So this is a different challenge to AB5. So they have to spend a lot of money. I'm sure this is like a shit ton of money. Like this is probably $100 million right there for them to fight that battle. This battle, so expensive, expensive stuff. Lots of money spent here.
And there's really not much else to talk about. We can go on and on, but at the end of the day, we have to see where this leads. There's two sides of the camp, and we just have to see where everything plays out. More on that topic in the future. So make sure you
real
subscribe.
Quick though, also interesting is to note that there are actually a lot of like other freelancer groups like truck drivers and freelance riders and freelance photographers that actually also are suing the state of California for like basically the same reason. So while this law is actually it definitely has been aimed at Uber and Lyft and the whole gig economy, but it actually has some like implications on some of the more like traditional gigs as well, like truck driving, freelance riding, and things like that.
Yeah, because they don't want to be employees either. Those people.
Yeah, they really don't want to be. They're like, no, this is not.
There's one topic.
I mean, it's weird that they would even have. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird that they would have like the same issues because they have a lot, especially like a freelance writer. I mean, you have a ton of control over that. So it's of your own business there. So I'm surprised that they even would be classified as an employee under AB5.
We're trying to apply an old time classification from another era, the past, into something that's brand new. Like we are entering rideshare is brand new. The whole nature of the gig economy is brand new, never been done before, and we're trying to apply an old tag to it, and I think it's going to lead to a lot of problems.
One of those things, bless you. This is like one of those things where you're totally right. Like we're trying to like. We're not kind of changing things like with like the times, like where gig economy and freelance work is probably going to be more. It's going to be happening more. So it doesn't make sense to have like these what appears to be kind of like these archaic ways of defining like your work status, and then using that. So I mean, I would agree with you. I think there
needs to be a new classification, one that's well thought of on both sides.
100%.
Because if you don't have if you make these classifications that are so damaging to the business, that business is going out. It's going out of business, and then everybody loses. There has to be a balance.
All right.
Speaking of going out of business, Uber is also offering Subway snacks to their drivers, and we ain't talking about going down underground and riding on a train. We're talking about going to your local Subway restaurant, getting a free snack. But did you hear about this, Brandon? The catch with this is from my driver app, is that in order to qualify for a free 6-inch sub, you have to be Uber Diamond status, which no part-time drivers can hit that.
Of course you do.
And it's weekly. You only get one 6-inch sub a week. The rest of us were relegated.
6-inch? Wait, that's it right there. A 6-inch sub? That's all you're getting?
A week. And the rest of us, we're only getting a 20-ounce soft drink.
So they just like
and a cookie if we're at gold.
If you're a cookie and a cookie?
Or a cookie if you're at gold. If you're at platinum, you get a drink and a cookie. To me,
that's pretty shitty.
I don't care. I think this is a failure. Like, what kind of snack is this? The first time I saw it, I was excited. I was like, whoa, Uber's partnering with Subway and we get like free sandwiches? Heck yeah. Click on it. Here's your 20-ounce soft drinks. What the? Almost flipped my phone.
Yeah.
Actually,
the thing that I think is funny is like they're are like a ton of companies or a ton of like franchises because it's a franchise model. So I guess any Subway can decide to say "fuck you" to whatever
which they
promotion,
have.
which they have in like the most hilarious way ever. Because like literally every time I've seen this, it's just been like this horribly misspelled. We need to figure out a way to like superimpose this like here, like the flyer because
Yeah.
it's so funny.
They
Like
misspell
this,
sandwiches in this sandwich.
yeah. I'm gonna after this, I'm gonna literally go walk across the street to like the subway and take
Take
a
a
picture of
picture,
their sign, and it
please.
looks the exact fucking same. Like, why can't they spell shit right on these on these signs that are telling
Yeah.
Uber drivers to fuck off? Why?
Well, look, I don't want to be a whole beggar, a choosing beggar here. I mean, it is something free that Uber's offering us. So, in all
You
fairness,
gotta
thank
do
you, Uber.
something to get it though. It's not like it's just like a hey, here's a free
Right.
sandwich.
Look,
You
I,
gotta work
I
to get that
appreciate it, but with
sandwich.
all the rate cuts that they've been doing throughout the years, I'm still salty about those rate cuts. Who cares about a 20-ounce drink? Give us an extra 10 cents per mile.
There you go. Extra 10 cents per mile,
Mm-hmm.
or even a 12 incher. 12 inch would
Yeah, give
deal
us a
with
whole
that.
foot long.
Yeah,
$5 foot long
yeah. That's it. It's just $5.
a
All right,
week.
come on,
All right.
sum it up.
Again, also on Uber, let's talk about what happened to one of our drivers.
Yes. So this is
So
really
you got an email, didn't you?
yeah. So a lot of times, drivers you'll email back, email us back after we send communications to you guys and kind of tell us about some issue that you were having. We had a user email us back. I'm just gonna say her first name just so she knows who that we're talking about her. Um, but it's this woman Amanda, and she wrote us this email back about like an issue that she had. I'll just go ahead and read the email. It's relatively short. She said, I have driven with Uber for 4 years, given over 7,000 rides with a 4.94 rating, and my account was terminated for an honest mistake. I was home about to start my shift, went on to turn on my app and asked to take selfies and update my ID. I tried to take my pic several times, but the system kept asking me to retake. I got in and asked my 13-year-old to see what was going on, to see if there was something wrong. In that process, she took her photo and not knowing what she was doing, she actually posted the picture. I thereafter got a message to call support, which I did. Support told me that my relationship with Uber was canceled and there was nothing she could do. I tried to explain what and how it happened, but she said, sorry, that the decision has been made and cannot be reversed. 4 years of service, 7,000 rides with a 4.94 rating, flushed down the toilet over a mistake that took a half a minute. She's disappointed. She feels like she's used just as a number in a money making machine. What do you think my options are? And that's the questions that she asked to us.
Well, those of you watching and listening to this, oh my goodness, what do you think about this? Because we all been there, we've all seen the take a selfie gimmick.
Right.
Granted, it's more so for rider safety than for your safety.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of triggers me that the fact that they use this to deactivate this driver now.
Yeah. It's one of those things that it's just like this is again like a couple weeks ago, and I think this is what kind of spurred her to email us. A couple weeks ago, we talked about the driver that they emailed Dara directly.
We did. We get a lot of responses from people asking us for Dara's email.
A lot of responses, and guys, for legal
Um,
purposes, we're not going to actually
we
give you
can't
his,
give you that.
his email address.
We're not giving you advice here. It's just we're saying this is what people have done.
Right. This is what people have done. Not necessarily.
We cannot condone you emailing Dara. Okay.
Yeah. So we can't give you the email address, but
we can offer some advice onto this situation.
We can offer some advice,
and that is to reach out to your driver support group. Reach out like she did to the Gridwise community. Blow each other up on social media. Tag the story. Tweet it out. Tag Uber. Tag Dara.
What do you think? What do you think Amanda should do in this case? Like, I think that one is certainly like if she if she should hopefully be able to just jump on Lyft just to
Look,
kind of be like a little bit of a stopgap.
we
I
all know
would
Lyft is far less of an earnings opportunity than Uber, and a lot of
right.
drivers in my
In a lot of
market
markets,
especially don't like
absolutely.
it. I will say this for Amanda: your best bet is to keep going through their support channels. I know you said that you feel like you just a number lost in the money making machine, and I'll be honest with you, you are. You are just a number, and you have been lost. Uber is
Yep.
so big, such a behemoth. I mean, their customer support, you are talking to computers, bots, or if you were lucky with a human being, a low like entry level support agent. Your best bet is to
Mhm.
continually email them, continually call, continually trying to pester, and hopefully get bumped up the chain.
Yeah.
And in
It seems
order,
like this is a case where she should just make as much
right,
noise
because
as possible.
you're just a number, and the
Yeah.
system is so big that they probably get so many of these that for them the most cost effective solution is to just deactivate and never deal with it again. Because think about it from their business perspective. Support agents cost time and money. People that deal with your phone calls and your text messages and your emails, they cost time and money. Even the computer systems that first answer you, the bots, they cost money. You get one person that needs to have the problem solved, a couple dollars, not much of a deal. Imagine Amanda's case where there's millions of drivers around the world who have this same issue. They ran some analysis in the back. It costs way more to deal with this than to just deactivate you, take the losses from your like profit that you
Yep.
generate for them, and never deal with it again. Your best bet, because I'm telling you, you are lost in the system. Continually pester support. Eventually, you'll get through, or you may not. What I would do personally, I would go on social media. Go on Reddit, go on YouTube. I reach out to some of the YouTubers. I have if you
That
have
would be
Twitter,
great.
tweet out,
Yeah.
get it on social media.
If you have, I don't know if she has like social media or something like that, but if Amanda, if you do, um tweet at Uber, see us, we'll be all over that as well. We'll try to work what we can, email support and things like that. I think that could potentially help. I mean, also it's just like, calling in. I mean, it's just such a pain in the ass that you even have to do this. But just like continuing calling in, and sometimes like the people that you get are different, and so you can talk to some people a little bit easier, and then they can kind of maybe have a better time kind of passing you through.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those, again, like a shitty situation where
Mm-hmm.
there's not a ton that she can really do, and it just sucks. It just sucks that that's like the position that she's kind of ended up
Yeah,
in.
there's it got to the point where this company became so big that it's just a cost saving measure.
Mhm.
And once you get to that point, all humanity, all personality,
Yeah,
all peopleness just go down the
business
drain.
decisions.
You're literally run by a computer system
Yeah, yep.
that compares A to B and spits out C.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
So
Let us know in the comments, guys. And
yeah,
what
comments.
would you
Let us know
do?
like if there's something that we haven't thought of that we can tell Amanda to do.
Mhm.
Even if she doesn't watch this podcast, we're gonna watch the comments and see if I'll definitely email her back with any suggestions.
We're not condoning this, but other drivers have emailed Uber, our CEO.
Other drivers have. It's worked for them. I'm not sure if it'll work for Amanda. And we're not gonna give out the email, but we definitely
We've
want
heard.
to make sure that we help her as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So any suggestions, guys, would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Next
Now,
topic.
one more thing to talk about, right?
Yeah, one more thing, and it's escaping my mind right now.
You know what it is?
What is it?
It is Texas
Oh yeah, we're
allowing
now ambulances. You know what I did,
drivers are now
Brandon?
ambulances.
You know what I did for my last ambulance request?
What'd you do?
Actually, I ended up driving that. That was a weird story. I just remembered. That was my last one. The one before that, I always call the passenger to like tell them I'm on their way and to confirm their pickup location, but never their end destination because Uber can believe it or not they listen to your calls, and that's against terms of services. But this passenger spilled the beans. Was like, you need to get here quick. My son needs to go to the ER. There's blood, and I was like, I call the cops. I'm not dealing with this. There ain't no way I'm having some dude in my back seat that requires emergency medical attention, I'm not gonna be responsible for this. So that was the last road trip that I just canceled. I was like, call the cops, call EMS, call the ambulance. That's what they're there for.
Why would you not call the ambulance in the first place?
To save money, because it costs, even with health insurance, like $300 as a copay to get emergency. True. The country we live in. So now in Texas, is this just for like outpatient services? Because
this isn't quite to that level. It's not like that.
Right. So for those of you watching and listening that aren't in the medical field, outpatient is different than inpatient. Outpatient is like your clinical work, things that are just like really easy to get done, that aren't messy, that aren't life threatening. I think those are okay for medical transport services, as long as they like improve the rates. Because at the way it's going, I wouldn't turn down a regular trip for one where I'm just taking a patient to the outpatient or clinic, and then that's it.
Yep. And it's basically that. It's like people that are on kind of Medicaid and Medicare. I'm not incredibly versed in my healthcare terminology.
You got one of those right.
Okay. But I'll take 50-50.
Yeah. So so the reason that's actually a huge problem for healthcare in the United States is, how do you transport patients from their place of residence to their place of treatment? Now, the reason why it's a huge problem, Brandon, and for those of you watching, is that with increased transportation difficulties, you start to see utilization go down. So it's not even about cost at that time. It's about, it is about cost, but you also have the patient's health and livelihood being affected. If it's hard for you to get treatment, you're most likely not going to do it. And then chronic issues that could be nipped in the bud get worse and worse.
Yep. And
the worse things get, the more money it costs in the long term on our society and a burden on our healthcare system, which is already strained. So this is a huge. I am not surprised that healthcare systems are actively seeking to partner with rideshare companies to figure this problem out. And they don't want to do it for good prices either. They want to do it for cheap. That's my issue with that.
Yeah, I mean, because then you're talking about working with the government, right? So they're always going to want the lowest possible bidder. So that's that. But I mean, I think you pretty much explained like what's going on. Like it's difficult and somewhat expensive, and you have to, I guess, like definitely in Texas, maybe across the country. Again, I don't know shit about healthcare. You have to schedule like your appointment early, like a couple of days in advance. So if something suddenly happens at all, like you suddenly become sick, or like you get sent home from the hospital early, then you don't have like a transportation method.
Right.
That's another place where Uber kind of steps in. It's just like when you don't have 2 days to schedule something, you can still just call up Uber. I'm assuming just as normal.
I think there should be a separate category that you can opt into. Again, all of these things,
I'm sure there is,
you should be able to opt into. And I hope to goodness that Uber doesn't just throw this on you like, oh, if you turn on Uber X, you have a chance of getting Uber Pets and also Uber Patients.
I can't imagine. I mean, because I'm assuming, like, I don't know if you need some sort of training for this, or like you probably need to know something.
You don't. Like, we've been literally, all of us driving have been dealing with ambulance rides that should be in ambulances and patients.
Right, but this is like paid for by the government. So like they can't, I'm assuming they can't just
know that's watching this? Let us know in the comment section below.
Yeah, if you know, clearly we don't know. I mean, clearly I don't know. Agenda, for whatever reason, I don't really know, knows a little bit more about this than I do.
Not as much as you think. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Let us know. But I mean, it's definitely coming to Texas. They're planning to roll that out. Sounds like this year. So that'll be interesting. Not only with Uber and Lyft doing these, but there's also other rideshare companies that are doing similar stuff, but they focus on like these like medical transportation. So that'll bring like another service for Uber, but it also hopefully will bring competition in the marketplace as well, which is more competition among drivers or among companies. It's sometimes good for drivers. Sometimes it's not.
And we're in 3 cities in Texas: Houston, Austin, Dallas. Actually 4, San Antonio. So make sure y'all let us know. You text it. What's
Let us
going
know
on?
how
Because
that
we need to
goes.
know.
Let us know what you think about it. Let us know.
I think that's it.
That's it, Jay.
Brandon, it's good having this discussion with you. I really enjoy our weekly one-on-ones here. And also,
Love it.
we, Brandon and I both enjoy our weekly get-togethers with you, the wonderful viewers and listeners, because we are a podcast. And make sure you subscribe to both platforms, hit the like button, share with your friends, and have a good 2020. Why am I doing this? Why do my
Show me
hands look
here.
so big?
Yeah, my hands look pretty big as well.
All right.